me set the scene for where we are. I told you today that we're talking about the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. How big is that crisis? Let's take a look. The number of people right now relying on humanitarian aid, most of the population, 80% of people right now in Yemen are looking for humanitarian assistance. The number of people facing food insecurity, which means that often they're going to bed hungry, they don't have enough to eat, 17.4 million. And then finally, the number of children who are acutely malnourished. We're looking over 2 million people there. David, well, you know these figures. You're very aware of what is happening. If you could suggest to the world what they need to do, what we need to do as an international community, how do you solve that issue of humanitarian aid?
Well, there's three major problems. I mean, we have to start with the conflict itself, which is the proximate cause for all the suffering that we see there. Not only the direct impact of the war, but the indirect, which has destroyed the economy. Most people have lost their jobs, their livelihoods, and their means to purchase food and essential commodities. We see a steady decline in the economy over the last 7 years. I see it on the ground everywhere I travel. I've traveled almost to every government now in the country, and the suffering is there everywhere. So the first order of business is solve the political and the conflict crisis. They need peace. Secondly, rebuild the economy, and you will solve the humanitarian problem. But until those two things are done, the humanitarian situation will continue, and continue, more importantly, to deteriorate. Every year we see more people in need, whether for food, water, shelter. You saw the Yahya speaking earlier. I've had so many conversations with men and women, mothers in particular, who describe what they face day to day to help their families survive. It's not easy to witness this, and it's even more difficult when we don't have the full means to address the humanitarian situation on the ground. WFP, which we'll be speaking here in a moment, will explain more detail, but they've run out of funding, and the number of people that they can feed is declining rapidly from a peak of more than 11.5 million people, maybe down to 2 million people. And the scene that you just saw earlier with Yahya will be repeated in many places throughout Yemen in the months to come if assistance doesn't come. The last thing I'll say in this introduction is the response globally was not very good for the last pledging conference. We only got 1.3 out of over $4 billion that we had asked for to meet the full needs. That's only a third. So many donors who contributed last year gave generously again this year. Others didn't contribute at all. And I think it's extremely important that those that have yet to contribute come forward now and put the funding so that we don't see these scenes not only repeat, but get worse in the months to come. Thank you.